party down, location mysterious. Wanna rock this con like my man James Tiberius. Jesse and Marina, they're mad clever like the Negus. Gonna guide you through the scenes, beam from London to Las Vegas. Where to go, how to dress, when to sleep, who to see. Celebs not to miss, Sardis Wong and SMG. Star Trek into awesome, build some memories that last. Set the proper course, the Shore Leave Podcast. Boom.
But here we are. Welcome to Shore Leave. We're starting out this wonderful day of talking about STLV, which is upcoming. Literally, like what we have 2 weeks plus a couple of days, which is a little bit scary. How is it that the summer is already midway through and we are almost at our favorite event of the year? Hi, I'm Marina, one of the co-hosts of Shore Leave, and with me, as always, is my wonderful co-host Jesse. How are you, Jesse? I haven't seen you in ages.
I know it's been kind of see. I'm just I'm living the dream. Just watching me go crazy over every little thing. But I'm happy we're here to talk about some.
Yes, and with us is wonderful Heather Barker, who's part of the admin team for the Star Trek Convention Experiences group on Facebook, and who's actually the founder of this podcast. Also, our friend Ron was supposed to be with us, and unfortunately, he had to go to work. Just so happened. So, Ron, you're with us with spirit, and we're going to be talking about Star Trek Las Vegas, where we're definitely going to be seeing you. Heather, welcome back. It's so great to see you. How you been?
Thank you. I've been pretty well. I am so eager to see everybody at this, well, pre-con. It's been a long year, and a family reunion around the corner is always just the highlight for me. So I'm excited. I hope you guys are excited. I wish Ron was here to share the excitement, because we do. He's one of four. Ron, one of four.
Yes. So here we are. I'm sorry.
I can't go this year, but I'm excited. Not as excited, but I'm always happy to talk to you guys about it. So
yeah, and Jesse, you're going to be missed, because I frankly, I don't know, neither the cruise nor the Star Trek Las Vegas experience without you kind of feels a little bit not the same. No, so
Yeah.
we definitely going to miss you.
Sucks being an adult.
So here we are, and I'm sure the first thing that we do want to address is the elephant in the room. I'm sure everybody who's going to pretty much any kind of convention at the moment is very much concerned about how the current events are going to influence the convention experience, with the ongoing double strike with SAG-AFTRA and WGA, which everybody supports them. This is something that needs to be said. This is something that probably should have been addressed, all the issues for ages, and push came to shove, and here we are. At this point, we're not going to be offering any guesses. We're not going to be offering any theories, because frankly, none of the convention going fan crowd is really at the full know what's going to happen. We've seen the information shared online. At this point, until any kind of explicit statements, details, they're going to be shared by the parties that do know what's going on, what's allowed, what can be done at the conventions by the artists, by the talent who fall under the SAG contracts. We're not going to know for sure. So no guesses. There have been statements you can go online and see from both Creation Entertainment, from New York Comic Con, from Fan Expo Brand, and several other major convention hosts. At this point, the information is incomplete, and once it will be, I'm sure it will be shared widely, and we will know exactly what's going on. At this point, all we can talk about is what we're expecting, what we know, what's provided on the convention website, and of course, any kind of fan-organized activities that are planned for the wonderful week in Las Vegas. So let's hit it off. Heather, Jesse, let's pick a subject, and let's
Back to what you're saying, Marina. So
who expecting, hoping to see at the convention? Let's start with the guest list.
I would say, like agree with you 100%. I know, regardless of what happens on stage, like when you go to the convention, more and more, it's just to see your buddies who share the same interests. So it's going to be fun either way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's a good point, and I think it's something that newer fans, new attendees may not quite realize. Like once you get there, you're among friends. And so I think that regardless of what may or may not happen with celebrity panels, there's still a plethora of other really interesting panels highlighted this year. Lots of topics that I'm interested to sit down and hear more about. Some not so much, but I think that just the guest panel list with scientists, there are some fans, some of our friends within the STLV Trekkie community have panels this year. So I think that there's still going to be a lot going on between those panels, whatever creation comes up with between that, and then the fan events going around it. And so while I personally, again, I'm at that place where, Marina, we talked about this pre-show, like this is what our 12th, 11th, 12th, 13th STLV. We've been going now for over a decade. And so for a lot of us, our experience is geared towards the family reunion aspect and seeing each other versus going to the panels and seeing the celebrities. So my answer is always, I'm most excited to see you guys. And honestly, outside of celebrity stuff, I'm just really interested in these more expansive fan panels and what they have to offer. So that's where I'm at with who I'm looking forward to seeing. I'm very focused on just seeing my friends again, and seeing what our peers are bringing to the panel table.
Yeah, absolutely. The convention experience is most certainly not purely just doing the Q&As and having, hoping to meet a celebrity guest. The entire convention experience is so much more than that. Having said that, I did bring up the guest list, and this year, if you do notice, I mean, it's currently, I believe, at 140 plus. I mean, I am sure within the next 2 weeks, it's going to be rather fluid, with some of the cancellations and some additions, as it always does, regardless of the circumstances. But we do have, if you look at it, besides the creative talent, both, in front of the camera and behind the scenes. But as always, we also have scientists, doctors in psychology, doctors in astrophysics, and what have you, coming in. There's going to be wonderful content that's, track as reflected in the real world, so to speak. And we also have plenty of fan run events, and with fans actually now listed as guests, which is very exciting. I think quite a few of them are actually our mutual friends, so it's delightful to see them on the list, and to I'm looking forward to stopping by some of those panels and just participating, because it's very much close to our fandom community as far as convention going is concerned.
I will say really quickly, now that I'm looking at the page again, I think that the one panel I am definitely most excited to see, given they can say anything, would be the Prodigy panel.
See, that's tricky though. I had that conversation with one of my friends. So we know that the Higeman brothers are coming, right? And so they are very much part of the WGA part of side of the strike.
Yep.
Now they don't have the same limits. They can talk about what they're working and everything. Now, if you remember, there was this small Twitter exchange between them and Kate Mulgrew saying like, yeah, we have a lot to discuss. So is she going to be part of that panel or not? Because in her case, she can't talk about it.
Yeah, it's definitely tricky. I think ultimately for me, it's getting to sit down and talk with them and just be present and show our support. And so, like, I know I'm going to show up. I have a Murph shirt from Chicago, from the mission, Star Trek Missions Chicago, that I'm going to wear. And I don't know, I really want to make a sign that says like Save Star Trek Prodigy. I just want to show up for them, because we're living in an age now where showrunners, writers, producers are so accessible. I mean, they've made themselves accessible on social media, specifically Twitter. And then I know people are in some Facebook groups here and there, but it's such a privilege that they reach out and chat with us, for me, it's really important to just show up and be there and show our support for the show. And hopefully by doing that and maybe getting like some photographic evidence of the crowd, that will only continue to encourage someone else to pick the show up.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And Prodigy deserves it. It's
Yes.
so close to my heart. I mean, in the ways that it is in the way for
I
continuation
got the
of Voyager,
toys
which
back
is my
there.
favorite series. So yes, yeah, kind of to tie into that, like, because it is deeply appreciated when you have the writers, the producers, the art talent, the visual effects folks coming in and talking about this thing, because you can actually, well, talk about the nitty gritty, how your favorite stuff is created. We have same thing. I'm actually have the page open so I can touch upon. We have Dave Blass and Liz Kozlowski coming to
Yeah.
talk about the recreation of the Enterprise D bridge, for instance. That's super. If you actually watched what they put out, or seen what they put out on Twitter, all the details, all this stuff, going back to the whole accessibility thing,
Yeah.
it's extraordinary. So it's very exciting to actually have them at the convention and talking about this live. That sort of thing, I'm 100% there for. I can't wait to actually go to those particular panels and check them out. Let's see.
What's the panel you're more looking forward to
Mm.
this year? I'll see if I can look at one because I'm, depressed, but like you're seeing new stuff this year that I haven't seen before. What's kind of caught your eye?
I got one. Because I just pulled it up, but even then it's Yesenia and Chad and Liana's panel, which is best of both worlds, bringing your virtual community to real life. And I think for all of us, it's something that we've been involved with for a
Very
long
much so.
time.
Oh yes.
Our group is pretty much, the convention ends, but it continues in Star Trek convention experiences. And so I'm really excited just to hear them discuss what they've done. They're all involved with, we've got Star Trek Watch Party, LAOA team, and then Holodeck Waste Removal Crew and Sci-Fi Coalition. So they're all leaders of these groups. And I'm just really excited to get to see them talk about that and to support them.
Yeah, and I'm really glad that there is one to talk about the virtual community that specifically developed during the pandemic, because that was an explosion. And I mean, I'm talking from personal experience because I did try to kind of keep track of everything that was happening online as the world ended in March of 2020. And then of course the fact that it's there, and it got into the actual, official spaces, if you will, with some of the convention hosts actually creating their own virtual content. And then with the comeback of the convention circuit and in-person events, a lot of this stuff started to kind of like, on the official front, so to speak, started to pretty much disappear. Some still offer this. I think New York Comic Con does have like a digital ticket, but you're very limited in what you can and cannot do. Whereas a lot of the fan-created spaces, not only continuing on, they're flourishing. So that's something, if you're not aware that there are groups who are having this weekly get-togethers and presentations, panels, watch parties, you name it, it's still there. It's all very much happening and very popular. So check it out.
Parties, it's so very much.
I think we're having a feedback loop on your end, Jesse.
There you go. That was my fault.
No worries. So that's very exciting too. I I can't pick just one thing, because there's a lot of really good content. I'm excited about the movie screenings that Creation is going to offer. They did like a poll to pick like what's the movie that everybody wants to see. No, not everybody, most people want to see. And Star Trek 4 came at the top. And then I suppose they looked at it as like how much excitement there was around that poll, and they said, well, because these were runner-ups, why don't we also do First Contact and Galaxy Quest? Hey, so that's exciting. That sort of things, like there's something about the communal watching of Trek, even though we've seen it 100 times before, it's still wonderful. So besides, go ahead, Jesse.
It's like, I didn't expect a lot of people to be up on the West Coast at this time, because I barely made it up at the East Coast at 11. But like Yesenia says, thanks Heather for mentioning Dr. Mohammed's on saying thanks for your calendars, Marina. I mean,
that's so sweet. Thank you, Mohammed.
I'm so happy you're here.
So going back to this, so for me, even though this is going to be my 13th STLV, yes, I am excited and hopeful for the engagement with the Star Trek actors. We will see what's going to happen. If it's going to be just limited to photo ops and autographs, who can tell? That's still a wonderful experience. I mean, let's have, a hand to creation, because look at these photo ops, the group photo ops that they have arranged. Fingers crossed. I have to admit, I broke the bank.
They're doing, I will say, like, creation, despite not having the license anymore, I feel like they are putting effort into making the experience comparable
Every year.
to what it was. And I think and I'm sorry to interrupt you, Marina, I'll go
No
away
worries.
really quickly, but like one of the things they had just announced was Kavita's art gallery.
Yes. Oh
And
gosh.
we'd always had like a costume presentation. We had the 50th, we had like an art gallery with all those different Star Trek artists displayed. So yeah, I think that it's really cool to have invited Kavita, who is just an incredible artist and a beautiful human being, to come and display her artwework so that everyone gets to see it and to have that gallery experience.
What's more, Kavita is actually going to be at the convention actually working. So you will be able to see a piece of art, whatever she is working at the moment, taking form right there live.
Amazing.
So it's an extraordinary thing. Something like this happened, I want to say about 10, 11 years ago, where one of the artists who were working on the 5 series for Lightspeed Fine Art. So we had like the 5 captains, the 5 first officers, 5 doctors, etc. He was actually working on one of the pieces right there at the convention. So you could stop by the booth, and there it is, this giant thing. And then eventually, I want to say it was either the engineers or whatever the next one in the series was, and it was like right there. You can literally see it happening in front of your eyes. So I'm very excited. Kavita is extraordinary.
You can see
pieces, and it's just fantastic.
You remember, I think Jay Woodard, didn't he do some of his painting, like, he does the comic book covers? Did he do something at STLV, or am I thinking of Cruise? But anyway,
you're thinking Cruise. JK did this on the Cruise, yeah.
Yeah, just doing that stuff live, just always, it's like when you see the makeup being put on in front of you. It's just a talent that I don't have. I'm just embarrassed. I'm happy when they get to do it for me. Totally.
Yeah, no, I'm in that same boat. And I was gonna say, there's so much on the events page for the convention that I am losing. I'm like scrolling forever. But somewhere in here is the extra, so here it is, the Outpost, which is an activity room.
And that's something new. I mean, there've been versions of this, but this seems to be a bit more comprehensive in what they're covering.
Yeah, it is a fee, so it's $25 a day, or you can get a 4-day pass for $75. And within that room is photo op, mat decorating, a beading table where you can make a solar system bracelet, which is cool. A photo booth, which I'm so like, I think it was the 50th somewhere, a couple years we had the photo booth that was in that promenade area that was free. And that was a lot of fun to go in there and take those pictures. So I'm kind of sad that that's behind a paywall now. But in that Outpost room are these painting parties, which are going to be done by Ed Mueller of Art Party for You. And it's a step-by-step guide to doing some different paintings. It looks like Enterprise Night, Federation Adversaries, and DS9 Space Station, which that one's probably going to be really cool.
And those are curious, like Enterprise Night, is that the version where, like, how there is one that was done of Enterprise Z, only like Van Gogh Starry Night painting? I wonder if that's kind of like a version of that or something.
It might be.
Sounds pretty neat.
And I kind of hope that they have like maybe a preview outside of the room.
Something I would actually bring up. I know. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, no, I was just saying, like, it would be nice if they had a preview of what you would be painting outside of the room, so that then you could decide whether you wanted to do it or not, because it is a $99 ticket for that, which is a lot, but I assume that goes towards also paying Mr. Mueller and supplies and everything. So
yes, something I wanted to bring up, because there there was commentary online where people were concerned that this particular area replaces the usual, like the equivalent of a quiet room. And there is actually like if you scroll down, I think under with what was somewhere on the page, and let me actually find it so that I can
Yeah,
quote
I
it.
think it's
But
on the bottom. There's
yeah,
not much
yeah,
there,
quiet.
but
There is still quiet and relaxation room. So there's still going to be a spot where you can find where you need to, if you do feel like you need to catch a breath, you know, because it can get a little bit too much with the crowd
yeah.
Yeah, it does.
and this noise and everything. So
Dude,
it's not, they're not replacing one for the other. There's still going to be a separate space to kind of relax and calm down.
And it's free.
The table chairs that one year that they had for us in the quiet area. I miss that so much.
Yeah, that was great. That was the best ever. Going in there and just laying on a giant tribble and relaxing. I really missed that space.
Oh, yeah.
But generally speaking, you know, for those who are not didn't know that there was a separate section actually about this, but the special events on the convention website kind of have a pretty lengthy outline right now of things, you know, from everything from the Mars Society to talking about advertisement and Star Trek, which is an interesting combination, to ethics and the future. So there's a whole lot of things with, you know, real life science and psychology and Star Trek, everything that you can possibly think of. And I'm sure there's going to be quite a few things added more. We still have 2 weeks to go. As you know, things get added to the schedule up until the last moment.
Yep.
Speaking of which, I think it's the usual expectation that we shall see the schedule sometime within, you know, a week to a few days before the convention start. That's pretty much, well, except for the crazy years that we've had so far with
Yeah.
everything coming back from the pandemic. I mean, 2021 and last year, that was a little bit more last moment,
Yeah,
but
I would not be excuse me, I would not be surprised if there is a delay this year because of the circumstances.
correct.
And if that happens, I would just advise, as I advise regarding the whole situation, patience and kindness. Like I know that there's a lot of frustration with the situation, but there are real human beings involved in all of this. And I think that everyone is doing the best that they can right now. I think creation's been very transparent. I think that the celebrities have been transparent. However, this information is constantly changing and evolving, and nobody really seems to know. So I think, again, just let's be patient. Let's have some compassion,
Yeah.
and kind of root for the best of it, and ultimately focus on the content that we do have and the fact that you get to hang out for a week with the best people on the planet.
Yeah, definitely true. And it's like there's one thing that I see so being a cruise as well, right? So and the one thing I see on the cruise that I could actually see working in this situation is they do like yoga sessions or they do cooking sessions or acting, right? You know, we have a whole
Games.
and
Remember, like if you have a like something like, you know, I don't know, Hollywood
Match game.
Squares.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, magic game, exactly. So that's something is doable. I mean, how much of that can be arranged if need be in the next couple of weeks is a
yeah, Denise
question.
Crosby,
Yeah.
Phillips, the Mystery Science 3000 to old Star Trek, the
That would be hilarious.
that is so good.
Yeah.
I'm game. Like I want all of that. I am, but again, like, and I don't want to invalidate the opinions of anyone who this is their first convention, or, you know,
Oh,
they've
yeah.
only been a few years. And so they are expecting access to celebrities. Like I totally get that that's a disappointment. Like that disappointment is valid to feel. It is okay. But I think that we could still make the best of it, even if they can't talk about Star Trek this year. I would love to hear them talk about the strike a little bit, like their personal inside experiences, opinions. I know that not everybody is there for that kind of content, but for me, I think it would be great to give them that platform right now.
Yeah, if you look back, I mean, we've been to plenty of Q&A panels at this point between the three of us. There's always a component to Q&A section that involve some kind of discussion that has nothing to do with Star Trek, and sometimes not even with acting at all. So there's
Just go to
plenty of
Shatner's panel.
well, yes, sometimes you have, when you go that, I mean, how many times can he answer same question over and over again? It's
Yeah.
eventually he moves on and he talks about things that are more interesting to him, I suppose. But going back to it, like, I mean, there are plenty of actors who are multi-hyphenates. They're not only actors, they're also producers, they're also writers. So, those who have written books, for example, there's certainly things to be talked about, in terms of their writing process
Yeah.
and their enjoyment. Nobody said we can't talk about generally about the craft of acting. There's so many things that, how certain things come about, the experiences when they were back in studying at universities or studios or what have you, hobbies and skills that they may have picked up from this. And I don't know, at this point, it's like even favorite sport. That would be interesting. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So there's think about this, like, how would you approach a convention experience from a new new points of discussion? There are so many things. We're fortunate to have this incredible talent in front and behind the camera, who are fantastic, talented, smart people. There are tons of things you can discuss with them, so
Yeah.
keep it in mind.
We
Yeah,
What about
Jesse?
certainly. And then there's like, so, and what's become more prevalent is our fan events, right? So
Oh,
there's
yeah.
a time, whatever ever to what time, and then we do a newbies event, and
Yep.
we do, people go even outside of the Rio and do events there, like the party that the pin people do, that kind. There's just a lot. There's so much that happens at STLV that you don't even need a ticket for, if you will. Like, and
Yep.
this is a perfect opportunity to just take advantage of getting out of your comfort level, maybe a little bit, getting out of the casino, with the redistributed smoky air.
Just engaging with the fandom, engaging with other
Yeah.
fans, because that's part
Yeah.
of, like, that's kind of like you join the convention. Yes, at first it's you come there just to meet, the only reason I went there because I wanted to meet, I don't know, Dr. Crusher. That was but look at all this incredible crowd of people that you can hang out and talk and discuss who your favorite captain is and do anything. So yeah, let's actually talk about, we have quite a few fan organized events, or I should say, like non-official convention events that are happening during well, technically, yeah, 5 days, because a lot of pre-convention events are happening on Wednesday before the convention even starts. So yeah, Heather, take it away, because the newbies it was your idea, as I recall, originally.
What was it, Jesse? Like, Jesse hosted it, so I don't remember where it came from.
It very organically sprung, let's put it this way.
Yeah,
The event was I remember I was very timid and shy. I know you guys can't believe that, but I was very timid and shy. And after my first year, I joined the admin team, and I just asked, I'm like, what would be cool is if, like, people who are coming for the first time don't feel that apprehension when they get there. Like, my first year, I was ready to, like, go after day one because I hadn't met anyone and it just seemed overwhelming. And then eventually, I kind of got out of my own way and got to meet people. But it's horrible to be lonely in a group full of people. So that's why we started the newbie event. And then it's progressed. It was at the iBar, so it wasn't at the masquerade, like, huge group of masquerade over there where you could do like body surfing just together. And then eventually it became, come and join us at to do a newbie stuff and get to know newbies. And then we eventually, just like Mother Birds, we kicked you off to go to the masquerade next for Larry's event,
Yeah, and it still very much kind of is that, because the two parties are back to back. And we are at the iBar again this year.
It's basically an icebreaker for those who are trying to kind of put a finger on it. There's nothing. It's like, you don't have to RSVP. You don't have to be there. You don't have to show up exactly at the beginning. You don't have to stay the entire duration.
Starts at 7. I know there's been confusion because I'm in the East Coast time zone, but starts at 7. Just show up however you want to show up. Even though it's at iBar, there is no pressure to drink anything. It is just us hanging out, I will be there. Marina will be there. Ron will be there. Jesse will be there in spirit. We're going to bring an iPad and just walk around with Jesse's face. We can live stream you, Jesse. And the Lambda Quadrant will be there with hopefully a guest appearance by Dr. Trek himself, Larry Nemechek. And then we're working on getting some other sponsors or surprises. Stay tuned for that. But
Yeah.
it's just an opportunity to come and meet people. You can, like, meeting us, you know that you have a point of contact. And I think I speak for all of us in that we are very much ambassadors of these events. We are a person you can approach.
Ask questions, please.
Ask questions if you need advice, need help. Be mindful of if we're involved in a conversation or what's happening with us at the moment. But we are there to help you have a better experience. And so you meet us there. You're set for the whole convention. You can check in, but hopefully you'll meet some other newbies or solo people too.
Yeah. And what's more, it's not just limited, despite the name, even though it's obviously geared for somebody to get introduced to the crowd. If you've been to 2, 3, 4, whatever STLVs for now, and you still would like to stop by and, just hang out, please, everybody is welcome.
Yeah, it's basically like the event where you reunite with friends. I know that if you have bought a week ticket, we do overlap with some of the hours for the early registration access to the vendors room. So I used to like split my time and disappear, and now I don't. I skip the vendors room. I stay with the newbies, and we're there for a couple hours, and then the landing party, which again is hosted by Larry Nemechek, part of, I guess it's sponsored by a Trek movie website.
Yes,
I know.
It's I think believe, and Roddenberry as well, I believe, because I know John always comes.
Yeah, so John is always kind of a co-host with Larry, and it's trivia focused. Trivia is not easy, so come prepared. Maybe don't drink too much. If you want to win the trivia, you have to beat Marina and her team because she wins like every year.
No. Last year we got lucky because it was the entire we made Larry proud. Portal 47 was sitting together. I was like, why don't we do this? And we won it. But no, it's no guarantees. And what's more, just enjoy yourself. This whole thing, literally, nothing should be taken too seriously.
Yeah.
Again, landing party is just an opportunity to hang out with the fellow fans and just have fun. Again, no drinking obligations. You don't have to literally just go up to random people and start talking to them. It's not easy, but for the most part, it's this is the sort of type of a very accepting space, because people kind of like, that's the part of the convention experience.
Yeah,
just talking to random strangers.
If you're particularly shy, you can come up to one of us, because we're all pretty easy to talk to, and we'll help get you in. And
something I wanted to bring up is that for those who are coming for the first time, kind of be prepared that there's going to be a lot of conflicts of this sort, whether with the creation programming, we have multiple things potentially happening at once, where you kind of have to choose where to be, and certainly the fan ones. So despite the fact that there is some, if you want to stop by the vendor room first and then come to the party, do that. You just do whatever makes sense to you, whatever feels right, whatever you want to do, actually. So
right at the start time of any event, just show up whenever you want to show up.
We even if our event says that we end at 9, there will still be people at the bar. And again, I know that the bars can be a difficult place and very intimidating to go meet people. I know that Masquerade Bar, at least kind of the crowd expands into the floor, so you're not shoved into the tiny bar space around everybody. But those are kind of the primary places to meet people.
And it's going to go on throughout, even though there are no set times, days, everybody's getting together at Masquerade on Friday night at that time. No, there's just generally organically people just kind of congregate together, and it's been going on like this for years. Just show up and see who's there.
100%.
Always someone there. I remember, I've been going for a while now, so I'm older, but my first few years, like I remember like meeting the sun at masquerade. Like I just lost track of time and a bunch of us are talking and it's 7 a.m. I'm like, holy crap.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you know, you definitely relive your college years. Honestly, I can't do that anymore, but these ladies will attest. I did it for a good 4 years where I just like
Yeah.
just
Well, I don't know. I feel like we've all been there. Like I don't know about 7 a.m. That I didn't do that, but I think there were some 4 a.m. nights in previous years. And I have again gotten older and have other obligations that you need to be
Yeah.
professional
No,
for and show up.
up until
So
up until a certain point, I was actually trying to. I'm like, I only do this like once a year when I have
yeah,
like this whole thing just talking until 2 a.m. in the morning, and then I realized that I would lose my voice actually the following day. I would sound like Kathleen Turner a lot. And then I don't know, is it getting older? Is it just doing this over and over again? It kind of like shrunk back. Things
yeah.
have changed because of the pandemic. If both of you were not at 2021,
No, I
that
did
be
not
correct?
go.
The funny thing happened was that around, I want to say somewhere between 10 and 11, the masquerade actually started to kind of get very like emptier and emptier. And people are like,
Yeah,
what is going on? I mean, we're still doing the same thing. We're still excited. I love you, man. You know, why are we? And it was like, we decided it was pandemic fatigue. That people kind of got used to like not doing this for 2 years.
yeah.
And all of a sudden, everybody's just tired too early. I think we're kind of on a swing back. Last year was already much, 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 I don't know,
Yeah,
I don't know, excitable crowd. So
yeah.
we'll see what's going to happen this year. I'm sure there won't
I
be happening around.
based on the activity in the buy sale group that we have, I feel like there will, well, given the situation, I feel like there still will be a sizable crowd and that there are more and more
Oh
new
yeah.
people coming to the convention every year. And so I hope, from what I've seen, people still plan on it. I've seen more people planning to attend than saying they may cancel. So there is that. And yeah, there will always be
Oh,
people hanging out at the bar, at least, even if the event's closed. Like, just because a convention ends does not mean it actually ends outside of it.
yeah. Something that Glenn just said in the comments, and I want to reiterate what we already kind of mentioned. None of these fan events is something that you absolutely must do. The
Correct.
trivia is not mandatory. If you want to just literally sit there and watch other people play and giggle and have fun and questions called out and try to guess, please,
Yep.
just have fun and enjoy yourself.
I've given
Uh,
up. That trivia is too hard. I can get like 2 questions maybe.
do you
So
know
I
something?
just
It's fun when you can have, which again is sort of like this trick with like where you can sit down with random people because you don't know. We all know different things. Like I have
yeah,
met very few people who are knowledgeable across literally every single series. There are
yeah.
people like that, but that's more of an exception to the rule. So yeah, if we sit down and like I can help out with like say Voyager and the TNG, and somebody else is gonna be like really knowledgeable about the animated series, and somebody else is gonna be like, yeah, I know everything about Deep Space Nine. You have a good thing
Oh,
going
dear
because
God.
it's not going to
Yep.
be just one person answering the questions. It's literally going to be a collective, wonderful, fun
It's that whole
experience.
team. And
Yeah.
prizes. You do win some pretty cool
Yes.
prizes for landing party trivia. And then so Thursday is the Cool Waters
Yes. Thursday is
event.
the Cool Waters charity event, which supposed to have again Doug Jones. He was the special guest last year, and he's supposed to be special guest this year. The way it works, Cool Waters actually represents quite a few actors, primarily Discovery ones. So they do. It's at a very nice bar, so it's offsite. I want to say it's about a 5-6 minute drive away from Rio. And you can reserve the table. The tables are unfortunately gone, but there's plenty of room inside next to the bar, so you can literally just show up. Again, there are no tickets, there are no RSVP necessary. You can just show up. And just again, mostly like a bar hangout type of thing with some of the guests. Like it's going to be, I think, two other actors besides
Like
Doc.
2 or 3, yeah.
Sometimes like circulating through the crowd just to say hello. And then at the end of this sort of like bar hangout event, if you will, there's always a charity auction. So for example, the first year that I got to attend, Janet Kidder was the special guest, and the charity went to actually one of the favorite charities of her aunt, who played Lois Lane.
Yeah.
And Doug Jones did like literally even upped it. All the proceeds from the auction went to Ken Mitchell's family. So it's a wonderful
Wonderful.
thing every year. I don't know which charity. It's up to Doug to select. It's so, you know, if you have an opportunity to step away from Rio for a couple hours on Thursday night, it's certainly a place to check out.
Yeah. And that's at like 8. Is that 8?
No, it's 7 to 10. 7
Okay,
p.m.
7 to 10.
yeah.
So again, same kind of time frame.
Yeah.
And I will quickly say these fan events, if you join the Star Trek Convention Experiences group on Facebook, we have a
thread.
A thread that has links to all of these specific events, so that you can get information and find out where to go and everything else.
Yeah.
And then Friday is oh, go ahead, Jesse.
They're so awesome. Like, they're not doing it this year, but I don't think I was the only one that went that I knew, to Goldie when she did, like, it was like a Klingon burlesque show.
Oh,
yes,
yeah, I
that's
remember
right.
that.
Yeah, I had a conflict for that one, so I never went. But I heard it fantastic. I heard wonderful.
And so remember, Vegas has the Star Wars bar, so there's stuff that goes on there too. So a lot of our locals will chime in here as time goes by, because they'll start looking at our schedules and helping to
Yeah.
enrich our schedules with stuff locally. So do keep
Yeah.
an eye on the group.
Speaking of Millennium Fandom Bar, that's where the Fan Geeks party is going to be on Friday. Now, Fan Geeks, that's the portmanteau, that's the fan sets and Trek Geeks, and this is going to be fourth or fifth one. So I think fourth.
Yeah, I think fourth.
Well, in person, because we skipped a year, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And it's a fantastic party. Be sure to check it out. There's always wonderful fan set pins giveaways, a lot of giveaways, and some trivia, and it's just generally fun. This year it's going to be held, as I already mentioned, at Millennium Fan Bar, which I am personally very excited about, because it is a pop culture bar. I think primarily themed to Star Wars, but it has, I mean, look at their menu. They have like a little bit of everything sprinkled through. So yeah, the way this one works, the raw tickets, they're free, but they're primarily so that there is some crowd control. If you look back a couple of years, there was an issue where twice as many people showed up as anybody thought, and it became a problem with the fire marshal. So they have to do the ticketing in order to actually fit people inside the space that's available. So for those who are coming and don't have the tickets but are very interested, make sure to stop by. Now, Heather, do you know Trek Geeks? Do Trek Geeks have their own table this
Yes,
time?
they Trek it. Well, so they're sharing a space or next to fan sets, so they will be together all weekend. And
so
I believe it is August 4th, the morning of August 4th at 11 a.m. Please go confirm this, but you can go to their table and they will have some additional tickets available for people who missed out. So
hope to see you there.
Best of luck getting those tickets. I know that there are a lot of people interested in this event, and very, very much looking forward to it. And I hear that there's a Stump the Geek live show this year that is the hardest challenge Dan will ever face. So I am curious to see what happens there, and also just excited to go support our friends and see everybody.
All right, and then let's see, Saturday, and I literally just lost my page. I apologize. But Saturday night, Amy Imhoff and Larry Namachek hosting STEM Stars party. And forgive me, but I do have to find, because I do not remember on top of my head the name of the society that the proceeds are going to.
Space Prize.
That's correct. Thank you. Space Prize Foundation. Yes. So that's a first time that we have this. Should be exciting. I know a lot of people signed up, because last I heard, slightly more than half of the tickets are gone. And there are actual tickets, again, proceeds going to the foundation.
$25 for that one.
As Heather mentioned, we have the thread with all the information, so there will be an Eventbrite link where you can get the tickets if you're interested in attending. And
Yeah.
again, it's going to be a bunch of fellow fans attending. And I'm assuming it's going to be a whole lot of fun.
Yeah, and I think I know, outside of celebrity appearances with any of these events, we don't know. Like there are supposed to be celebrities at some of this, but we'll see. But aside from that, I do believe that Amy has engaged a few scientists, maybe some of the people that are doing panels, but there will be some really cool sciencey people, maybe NASA people. I don't know. Amy's very involved with the space world, so I can imagine there will be some cool people to chat with. And it is at the Rio. It will be a private suite. So in order to access that, you do have to buy the $25 ticket. And we'll have that link in the group.
Yes. A couple of events mentioned that again happen annually from our sister group USS Rio. They have the usual annual street run and walk. So again, you don't have to run, you don't have to walk. I mean, well, you have to do one or the other in order to get from one point
Skate.
to another. But bottom line is it started out as a run, and then some people said, I'm not
Yeah, I'd be the walker.
running
It's,
in Las Vegas in August. So it became also and walk. Yeah, so this happens on August 2nd, so that's Wednesday right before the convention, so that you can be suitably tired by the time the convention actually starts.
You've already like
to call it the V experience. It is,
yeah.
but it's still hot.
Yeah, we have the links. You do have to join also the USS Rio group, because the event with all the DITs is within that group. Similarly, they have the traditional annual post-convention pool party on Monday for the stragglers who haven't left the convention yet. And again, all the deets are in the group. And make sure to check it out, because it's become a whole thing. I think that this is already like 7 or 8 years in a row that we've had this pool party, and a lot of people are looking forward to it. Whatever other events would come up, and I'm actually going to scroll through to see if I forgot the big one, and Yesenia is going to kill me. The traditional craft swap that we have during the week, that also grew up very organically, and now I have to say very successfully transplanted to Star Trek crews. But that's something that happens every day. Usually there's a little meetup at Jimmy's, the former Quarks, and where it's not a sales. You don't, it's little swap. If you made pins, stickers, you did like a little, I don't know, cup holders, whatever, pens. You have like some extra cards remaining from the days of the card games that we had, and you'd like to just swap it with somebody. Just stop by, and again, yet another reason for the fans to get together, congregate, and enjoy themselves. And just in this case, you also get like a little collectible to go with it.
Yes, I love that event because you don't have to physically make something. I will say I own a little rock gem and minerals Etsy store, and so I bring little bags of Spock's rocks. It's just about getting to meet people and then getting to like exchange those little freebie things. So especially if you're on a budget, it's a great way to get like Star Trek stuff without having to invest a lot of money, and you get to meet other fans as you do it, which is really the highlight.
Yeah. But to reiterate, it is a swap, so it's not that you just show up and like
you gotta bring something.
It is a swap. You
just don't necessarily have to make it if you're not crafty talented like me.
There are a couple of group photos that are definitely planned so far. We have the LGBTQA. Well, I think Heather, you posted about it, so you can talk about this a bit more. I'm sure that there's probably more coming. At this point, I think we only have 2 arranged. So please talk about this one.
Yeah, so the LGBTQIA plus group, it's I've done it on and off throughout the years. And it basically started as a way, I think it was after the Orlando Pulse shootings happened that year. I just felt like it was time for us to say, like, we are present at this convention. We are a community that helps make this convention go, and would love to have support and just have an opportunity to be out and proud and visible and show up in solidarity. And so we first did kind of like a meetup, and then we walked around the halls, and now it's just kind of a photo, but we all get together. I think I have it down for 2 p.m. on Saturday. I don't remember when I scheduled it.
Hold on, I am looking at it. Yeah, it does say 2 p.m. and I'm assuming that this is Vegas time.
Yeah, that should be correct. Our buddy William Conlon is taking the group photo. If you look at that event, there's last year's photo, which was a smaller group because we had smaller space at Bally's. But it's just always been a nice opportunity. And we usually have a sticker or something to give out. But I think right now, unfortunately, it's kind of the only queer focused event. And I will put it out there that if anybody out there wants to host more things like a brunch or a meetup, please reach out and let us know, because we are happy to provide a platform to elevate that message so that people come to your event. It just gets harder and harder for us to do everything, but I would love to see more.
Yeah, and an opportunity for fans to do something together is actually it's right there. There are quite a few I mean, there are a lot of private suite parties getting organized that are within the people who are actually, it is a reunion. They get together every year now and they have their own thing going. But there are other public ones, like for instance, I have to bring up, there's a dinner and trivia. I think it's actually called Star Trek Charades.
Yes.
That Ellie Ingman hosts every year.
Thank you, Ellie.
That has also has become sort of like a thing for new folks coming in. Now it's pretty much, again, it's open to anyone. Again, all the deets are in the group. Please take a look. To mention other things, Body by Starfleet will have a group photo, which again, I've joined a couple of times, even though, well, round is a shape. It's okay. It counts. There is somebody organizing, remembering fellow STLV folks who have passed away.
Yes.
So, and this is like a separate thing from like an actual on stage event that Mike and Wen usually hosts. So that's a lovely thing, because it is part of the community, and the loss of the members have been acutely felt, because it just every year we lose people. So going back to what I was trying to say is, like, if somebody wants to organize something, a nice sit down with a discussion, something themed, all the bars are available. Normally people congregate there and organize little meetups, get-togethers, icebreakers, you name it. It's all there.
I would say feel free to reach out to us. We're happy to advise on any of that. I would love to see more.
Advertise in the group about it.
Yeah, like I would love to see more, like fan organized events for everything. Like we had games, we had people that organized like a gaming night one year. So any of that stuff, like you've just got to find the space and set it up, but we're happy to help advise and assist anybody that wants to do that kind of thing.
Sorry, you were getting interrupted, Jesse. You wanted to say something.
Sorry, Jesse.
No, it's the sound. It's a little crazy. But I was going to say, those, you don't need like permission to organize anything either. It's an open forum, use your best judgment. I wouldn't, advertise anything illegal.
No.
I mean, there are certain limitations. Obviously, you can't organize a sale of something, because then it kind of like there could be legal issues involved, that sort of thing. No, but 10 people sit down and had a discussion on, I don't know, if you're like in astronomy, into astronomy and Star Trek, and you're having your own little sit down talking about science. Just have a thing. Somebody else interested, show up, advertise in the group. Maybe more people come.
I saw people from Canada were like, is there a Canadian meetup? Not yet, but there can be. Like, just put a thing out, say we were going to go to dinner this night or whatever. Or even just that little like photo op is a great opportunity to just get that group of people together, so you establish a baseline.
I know quite a few podcasts usually have some kind of get together. So if you're following them, make sure to actually follow and see if they're having something. Like I know every year, and I see Anne Marie actually mentioned it, Seventh Rule usually has like a little get together. So if you're listening to, best way to show up, Sirach usually stops by, who knows, shake a hand. I know Sci-Fi Sisters used to have little get-togethers somewhere. Again, it's all kind of like it's very conflicting schedules. Like when can you actually fit something in?
You're never gonna make it all. Don't go with the expectation.
I personally already have 4 things happening between 7 p.m. and 10 p.m. on Thursday. And I don't even know, like, how can I be at 4 places at the same time? I need a transporter.
You have to pick and choose. You're never going to do it all. Please remember to drink a lot of water, more water than you think you need. Beer is not a substitute for water. Coke is not water, please.
Comfortable shoes.
Comfortable shoes.
Yes, there's, if not a lot of standing, but there's definitely a lot of walking, because we do have long corridors between the towers and the convention facilities. Please don't forget your medications. I don't know, put a reminder in your phone, please.
And that I wanted to bring up. So take care of yourself, right? Which is what we're talking about. So, you know, a friend of mine way back when I started cons, Karen told me, you know, eat at least 2 meals a day, you know, drink at least 8 glasses of water, and by all means take a shower every day.
Take a shower.
then,
And I will, so our past episodes are somewhat outdated because the convention has changed in ways. But if you go through the Shore Leave catalog, there are some specific episodes like STLV 101 that kind of go over that general broad information of what to expect, how to prepare. I think we did social anxiety at conventions, all that. So that's all there if you go back to the show's previous episodes to
And
kind of help.
also out of more recent stuff of our co-admin Conpod, Ron's podcast, he has a slight, you know, I think he did 3 or 4 episodes within the last 6 months that kind of cover some of the basics of going to STLV. So
yes, thank you, Marina.
Out. Yeah,
thank you.
And of course, again, you can message Shore Leave if you have any questions, or what's more, if you're in Star Trek Convention Experiences Group or USS Rio. You know, there are no stupid questions. Just ask. If it was already asked, at least people will direct you or tag you in the post where the discussions were already held. If not, your answer is just going to be replied, because it is the same thing every year. But nevertheless, you know, we have influx of a lot of new folks every year, and there's no shame in asking. We're like, it is a lot to take in. There's a lot of like little rules and like what do you do and how you do it. So please reach out.
People in the group, new people that go to the convention, and so like, don't be disenchanted or hurt if we say, hey, look at this post, right? It's just, we know the question's been asked before, but we're all like we all asked the same question when we started, right? And there are a lot of the same questions that get asked a lot of times. There's a lot of history, but it's free. Ask them as much as you want, because we're just excited for new blood at the convention. So that's the most important thing. It's just getting it such purpose to people don't ordinarily get to be with like-minded. So I do want to do a time check out there. We have about 4 minutes.
Yeah.
And Virtual TrekCon will continue with the 7th Rule doing a DS9 podcast. Go to their website to look at what's next and going for the rest of the day. But for us, last week, I guess, Marina, what do you think?
Yeah, well, here we are. I am really looking forward to seeing everybody. Jesse, we're gonna miss you, but again, you're in our hearts during that week of TrekFun. Yeah, it's I'm excited. You know, regardless of any kind of worries or feeling like, oh, are we hanging on the precipice? I don't think so. Things will work out themselves. We're gonna have a wonderful time. I'm looking forward to, you know, looking forward to seeing everyone. So see you in Vegas.
Yeah, I think we can't control what's going to happen, so let's focus on the moment and what we know. And I know that I am just super excited to see everyone and to get some big hugs. I feel like I have just really missed getting to hug my friends, and so I am excited for that, excited for all these events. I can't believe we're 2.5 weeks away. Blows my mind.
And I will miss everyone. I miss the hugs. I can tell you that I miss the human interaction. But the one thing the con and the pandemic has done for us is we share so much more during these events because we know people can't go, right? And so if you're going, share as much as you can on the group, share your pictures, your photos, and tell us, you know, what's going on. We also use the group. We turn off the moderation so that you can use the group to keep in touch and find out where people are as, you know, if you need to check on something. So, you know, we keep an eye, but we don't moderate everything because we want you to have an avenue to communicate with others. And it's a big thing, right? So, so heard about Ron's Conpod. So you do Shore Leave, but I'll be honest, Shore Leave is like, whenever something comes up, we are not consistent and we love it that way. We don't have to be pressured every week. But you'll hear from us during the, you know, for the big events. Like we may do a Comic-Con thing, we definitely do a cruise thing. So again, visit us, and you know, there is a lot of good information in our conventions experiences group. We do redo our 101. We have to kind of beat
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
up.
Well, you know
Like
what?
the-
Let's wait and see where the next venue is going to be, and then we'll
Yeah.
just try and redo everything from scratch. Until
Yeah.
then, again, just keep tracking everyone, and we'll
Yeah.
see you in Vegas.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Okay, yeah. Whoop, there it is. Okay, we're good.
All right.
Sweet. I think we covered